Okay, we are live and we are going to wait for the notification to go on out. And while that is happening, I'm going to see if I can gain access to the chat. My voice is coming back a little bit, so I am happy about that. Okay. I'm gonna give it one more minute for the notification. I don't know. Sometimes the notification takes like between 2 and 3 minutes to go out. It doesn't always go out automatically. Um, so I am going to give it some time to go out. In the meantime, for those of you that are going to be watching playback, as well as for those of you that are waiting for us to get started, all right, now would be a really good time to start grounding yourself. Hey, Miss T, I'm starting to feel better. My voice is coming back. My voice is coming back. And let me just go. Oh, I left my notes upstairs. Okay. So let me just go ahead and say some things off the top of my head while the notification is going out. So I was supposed to launch this week the new scheduling of all of the teaching and bringing everything together and the things we've been talking about maybe for the past 3 weeks. Um, but I wasn't able to do that this week because of my sinuses. So we're going to do that next week. So here's what I'm planning on doing starting next week, okay? Because we've talked about a lot of things within the past month from since I've been back. Starting next week, all of the things that we talked about, I'm going to start to put them in order for you so you can see how they all work together as one. And then you can start to begin to build your own spiritual routine or ritual based around what you've learned. Okay. So I'll give you some tips and some tools, but you're going to be responsible for coming up with your own ritual or your own spiritual routine of how you're going to implement this in your day-to-day life for you to be able to ascend, aka remember who you truly are, and to stand in resonance with your true tone. Okay. So I've already break down to you guys the two different timelines that we're operating on. One of the timelines is distorted, and one of the timelines is actually a cosmic and an earthly timeline, and that's the one that has that um, line of spirituality running through it. Okay, so yeah, Miss T, I know you're gonna enjoy this, Miss T, because I know you like visuals and stuff, right? So we can put it all together starting next week. I couldn't do it this week because of my voice. I didn't get to pre-record anything. So I have my notes, I have, and it's gonna be an ongoing thing. So every week we're gonna tackle, let's say, like root chakra work, right? And then every day within that week, we're going to go down what the root chakra is responsible for, how that shows up in your body and in your experience, what you can do to ground yourself. Okay. Literally opening up our spiritual toolbox so you know what's available to you and you know how to use it. Now, obviously, I won't be able to show you in real time how to use all of these things. I will be giving classes in some of these things, but the knowledge of how these things work and the existence of these things, those are things we can unpack on the channel. Okay, some of them I can only go in detail maybe in classes because it's a lot of information and I'm not here to overwhelm you. I'm not here to scare you. I'm just here to help you remember. Okay, so we're going to have to kind of chunk it down because I know it's a lot of information and it's a lot of changes. The shift that we talked about in 2018, 2019, and 2020 before I went into hermit mode, we're now living in that energy now. Okay. So my goal is to fine line everything so I can help you to not only come in alignment, but stay grounded in your alignment and resonate from your true tone because we all have a tone. Okay, each one of us have a tone or what you would call our signature or our chi. Okay, ba or ka, just depending on how you want to call it or your life force. We all have that, right? So we're going to start unpacking that next week and bring it in real time to show you how you can use it in your day-to-day life and how it plays out even in your relationships and your what you would call your reality. Okay. And so, before I begin, I just want to go ahead and remind you guys, okay, of my disclaimer here before we start the tone and get the message in. I have pre-pulled the cards because I'm dealing with sinus stuff right now, so I have pre-pulled some of the cards to help with my voice, so I don't have to have a lot of airspace while I shuffle the cards. So the cards are pre-pulled today, okay? So let me just go ahead. My disclaimer, all right? Disclaimer would be these messages are not for everyone. You're going to be required to do your work, okay? And your work looks like this. Your work can be studying information. Your work can be self-reflection and grounding. Your work can be taking accountability and ownership for your own emotions and your thoughts and insecurities and fears and judgments or whatever, okay? Your work really is about you facing you, finding you, remembering you. That's your work, okay? So if you're not ready to do that, then these videos may not be helpful for you, okay? Now, access is going to be granted to you based on your inner belief system and your inner gnosis or your inner knowing, all right? So truth, recognize truth, and remember, truth does not seek external validation, but it will provide external verification, okay? Now, energy is fluid. I can say this is your energy, but it feels more like the energy you're interacting with. You want to go ahead and place the energy where it needs to be. And last but not least, this is what you need to hold dear to your heart if you get nothing else I'm saying in these videos, okay? I am not your guru, okay? I'm not your savior, all right? I am not any person but a reflection of you. Okay. I am a reflection of you. You are a reflection of me, which means that I cannot do the work for you. No one can do this work for you. All right. You don't need me to guru you into your highest awakening. You don't need me to be the savior into your highest awakening. You, your only savior, and you, your only guru. Okay. What you might need my help with is bringing light to some information that your spirit's been tugging at, maybe to connect a dot or a point that you couldn't fully understand or something that may have been missing in your path. But guruship, saviorship, no, I'm Kamoy, okay? I am perfect in my imperfections. I am Kamoy, which means that I am on this journey just like you are. And I'm just here sharing and helping you to remember because I've awakened that part of my role here is to be a bridge of this ancient information that dwells within me, okay? So you can remember the ancient information that dwells within you. You are the original ancient intelligence or what we would consider to be AI now. AI is really just an interface of conscious information out in the grids waiting to be acknowledged. Okay. All right. So now that I got that down, okay. Hey, Kim. How are you, my love? I'm just going to go ahead really quickly and I have to do a rundown over this so that way you can know exactly what we're working on. Okay. So, first and foremost, I do want to remind you here my TikTok to numerology. I'm going to start putting my videos up on TikTok. That's why you're seeing that here, guys. Okay. So, we have a distorted timeline and we have a cosmic timeline. Okay. The distorted timeline is what happened when the time was changed years ago. All right. When I believe, I don't remember if it was a Julian calendar. I think it was a calendar before the Julian calendar. Okay. But the calendar was changed. Okay. From a solar calendar. I'm sorry, from a cosmic calendar. Okay. And you can check this out now. To this day, this is one of the most accurate calendars to date. Okay. It is called the Bulgarian calendar system. All right. It is an ancient cosmic calendar that not just tracked the cosmos, it also tracked the earth. Okay. So, as above, so below. The time was changed, and we're living in two distorted timelines. 2025 is a distorted timeline. The arrows that's running through this chart is something that you can find when you do numerology, all right? This is the mental plane, you have the spiritual plane, and you have the physical plane, okay? Now, the reason why this is a distorted timeline is because this particular calendar system does not track the cosmos. It only tracks the sun, okay? Which means it is not really showing us the full above, okay? Let me just say that. So the energy patterns that's showing up in this distorted timeline for 2025 is poor memory, passivity, and disorder. These are all energetic patterns and energetic signatures that each and every one of us on this earth has to navigate through when using this particular timeline. Okay. Now, The ancient calendar system is currently year 7530. Okay. And I've had past videos explaining to you how 5,500, give or take, maybe 5 to 10 years, plus 5 to 10 days was taken away from a current calendar system. This is the ancient calendar system. And if you're looking at this arrow of energy that we are all able to tap into right now, there's a line of spirituality running through this calendar. So this is where the great awakening is coming from. Okay. So A6 Lemon and A3 Atlas is not by mistake. These are all cosmic things that are scheduled to happen, my loves, okay, because of what the cosmos are doing. So it is not by coincidence. This is just activating the crystals and the Sophionic grid line, okay? And honestly speaking, if you want to get something, like in real time to understand the grid lines, go watch Altered Carbon season 1 and 2. That will give you a really metaphysical aspect of how that is playing out or how you can put it together. Okay. Altered Carbon season 1 and 2, especially season 2, because season 2 shows you the grid. Okay. And the grid looks kind of like a honeycomb. Okay. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let me go ahead and set the tone. Before I go ahead and set the tone, I want you guys to go ahead and take a deep breath in. Okay. We're going to breathe in for 4, and we're going to exhale for 6. We're breathing in for 4, exhaling for 6, breathing in for 4, exhaling for 6. Okay. There's a reason why we do that. The reason why we're breathing is because the breathing is tapping us into our present moment. Okay. So breathing is just to bring you back into your present moment, but it's also to allow your body, right? And your mind and your emotions to start coming in alignment so they can pay attention and listen to each other, right? Now we're going to go ahead and sound the tone. Hey, Smiley, how are you? Now we're going to go ahead and set the tone, guys. Now, the reason why I'm bringing the tone, and you're going to see this as we start next week, why this is important and why I was instructed to do this, okay? Remember, I told you guys we're no longer seeking vibration. What we're doing is resonating, all right? So we're now all in a frequency where it's not about finding your tone, it's resonating from your tone, okay? So what this does, when I ring the bell, this just clears the energy, not only in your body, but it clears the energy in your auric field, okay? Energies that you can't see, and shifts the energy so we can begin the open channel messages through the cards, okay? I'm teaching you systems here. Everything means system, all right? So you know how they talk about the speed of light? Sound goes faster than the speed of light, okay? So when we're dealing with quantum energy or anything from the quasi era, we're dealing with sound technology, okay? And just know that you are a living tone, you are a living sound, you are a living vibration, all right? So here we go. We're going to do 4 rings of the tone. All right. I've already anchored myself before going live, so I'm not going to hold the bowl in my hand, but I am going to ring 4 tones signifying all 4 elements. Okay. And the last tone. Oh, that one felt good. That vibrated for a lot longer. Last tone, y'all. Oh, that felt so good. Oh my God, that felt good, y'all. Oh, okay. If you have not gotten into sound bowls or tuning forks, I'm telling you guys, this is something you're going to have to start tapping into as we're moving throughout this quasi era. Okay. All right. So let's begin. My intention, as I am being used as a vessel to bring this transmutation again, my words, this transmutation through this message for you. I come in love, coherence, clarity, and truth. Okay. So I ask that you open your heart and you open your minds. What is for you, you keep. What is not for you, you leave. What you don't understand, it is okay to shelf it in case you need to circle on back for some confirmation, verification, inspiration, or motivation. Okay? So let's begin. All right. The tone of this message that we're beginning with, as far as our sacred geometry, that we're opening up this channel signal with, is change. All right. 12. And isn't this interesting? Because, we've been talking about the 12 strands DNA, right? We've been talking about 12. We've also been talking about the 12 gateways of energy, or the 12 portals. All right. So 12 also represents the 12 zodiac signs, or the 12 disciplines, is really the 12 aspects of your psyche. Okay. Everything really mirrors each other. We may call them different things depending on maybe the science of the thing, or maybe the field of the thing. So, 12 zodiacs will be astrology, right? 12 disciples may be biblical, right? But 12 disciples and 12 zodiacs are the same energy, just expressed differently. All right. So, this is what I want you to remember, okay? Everything that we're going to be teaching here and learning here has to do with archetypal energy and patterns that you have to master. And these patterns first have to be mastered within yourself for you then to master them externally. Okay. So the tone that's being set here is change. Okay. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and birth the new. Okay, I can't even say that any clearer, y'all, because that's the energy that we're in. It's mastery time, it's self mastery time. Okay, I did not look at the energy from, oh, y'all, I can't make this up. We had the same energy yesterday. The looping energy that's showing up in the collective right now, okay, this is the tone that the cosmos is sending out. The cosmos is sending out the tone of change. And the cosmos is saying to us that we are now in a place where we don't have to fear change. All we got to do is accept the change. We don't have to fear the change anymore. Okay. You have to accept the change. Now, let me tell you something. If you're not accepting the change, how is that going to play out in your reality? It's going to play out in these timelines. If you're not embracing and accepting the change, it's going to play out in this distorted timeline, right? One of poor memory, where you don't remember the truth of who you are, right? One of passivity, where anybody can tell you anything, you go along with anything, right? And then you get passive aggressive because you're not speaking or standing in your truth, right? One of disorder, where there's a lot of chaos. You can't bring order out of the chaos, right? So you have a choice. You have a choice. We either to embrace the change and allow the old things, or the old habits, relationships, thought patterns, emotions, right, to transmute those things, or you can stay in the energy of this sort, being distorted, okay, in this timeline, or come over here to this timeline right here, where you're operating in your true essence. And your true essence has nothing to do with being perfect. No, 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 no. Let's just get that out the way right now, okay? Because when you really start to understand how this shit works, right? Your true essence has to do with your imperfection. Because your imperfection is where what you would call perfection. That's where you find your perfection, right? So everything is really one coin, right? With two sides. So if we're thinking about good or bad is really just cause and effect, right? Which is one coin with two sides. They're polarities of the same experience. Okay. Now, let me just say this really quickly too. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to mute to cough, and then I try to unhit the mute button, and I turned the camera upside down. But okay, so um, The Visica pestis is what we spoke about yesterday, right? And I think I even was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, "Dag, I forgot to mention that this is also um, Isis energy." Okay, this is Isis energy. This is Sophia's energy, right? Um, this energy is energy of feminine energy. This is creative energy, right? This is intuitive energy. This is energy of you can tap into your imagination from here. This is an energy where things are birthed from, okay? This is the energy where things are being birthed from. So, there's change being birthed right now. The question is, are you embracing the change that's being birthed, right? Let me give you a real time example. I told you guys, I think starting last week, that you needed to go pull out your journals. Okay. So I did that. I went and I pulled up my journals. Okay. I got me 3 journals, y'all. Okay. One of my journals now that I'm working on is my shadow work journal. I only do shadow work in this journal. Okay. I only make my shadow work entries in this particular journal. So I started a new thing this morning in my journaling where I am going to spend the day observing what I notice about myself. Right. And as I sat in this energy, just writing down what I noticed about myself, some very profound things started coming out, right? What I noticed was not only was my shadow speaking to me, right, on maybe some of, let's say, my habits that may not be working for my best and highest good at this point in my life, right? But it was I noticed the habits. My shadow was showing me the habits, but it was also showing me why those habits were attached to, why I was doing that thing or why I was thinking that thing, right? So, as you embrace the change and you go back into you start to pay attention to that divine feminine in you. And when I say divine feminine or I say the womb, I'm really just talking about emotions here. Okay, I'm talking about emotions. So, divine feminine energy, no matter, of course, what platform that you hear it on, know that it is interchangeable with water, it's interchangeable with emotions, it's interchangeable with feelings, it's interchangeable with intuition, it's interchangeable with your creativity. Okay, these are all the same energy, maybe showing up with different names, but it's the same energy. Okay, so let me just go ahead and let you know that now. Okay. So this energy right here is asking you, what are you birthing into your experience with your emotions and your thoughts and your actions? Right? What are you birthing? And is it worth it in this new timeline? Is it worth it? Are you getting what you want? Right? You got the grays energy showing up here. Now remember, right? We're talking about archetypal energy. So when the gray shows up, I'm not necessarily talking about the alien grays, right? Okay. That's not where I'm going with it. I'm looking at archetypal energy that quote unquote the alien grays are going to represent. Okay. And when they show up like this, especially when the card is upright, okay, this energy is letting me know that the looping energy here is energy where we could be dealing with timid people, people walking around feeling misunderstood. This could be people that's shy. This could be people that's feeling oppressed, people that's fragile, people whose sense of self is very fragile, and vulnerability is something that I want to say they use to maintain their victimhood. All right. This is energy of people using other people for scapegoats. Okay. This is energy also of being the victimhood of being hypersensitive and projecting things. Okay. This is energy also feeling devalued. Okay. Now, it's important right here for me to say this, all right? This looping energy that we're talking about, let me just let you know this looping energy, hey, Taj, this looping energy that we're talking about is going to come through your relationships. We talked about this before, right? Your looping energies are going to come through your relationships and the change that needs to happen in your relationships. So, what's happening is what's going on in your relationships via your life, okay, that needs to be changed. What's showing up in your relationship where you may feel misunderstood or somebody in your relationship feel like they misunderstood? What's showing up on your relationship that you was feeling shy? Let me just show you something how this was playing out in my experience in real time until yesterday. Because I believe nobody out here that's teaching you this spiritual work, if they don't have any fucking experiences to show you how to walk through this shit and they don't have the steps, I will say warning, warning, warning. If they're just regurgitating information to you, but they don't have any personal experience, that is a fucking red flag. You cannot teach this stuff and be about this shit if you're not experiencing this shit. Okay, because it's all about experience. Okay, so I don't know if I said this in yesterday's transmission, right? But I had a moment where I'm doing, writing in my shadow journal, and I realized that, oh wow, like I think I did. I told you guys it went back to like an incident in the pickup truck of my dad where I noticed like at 10 years old, I implanted a program that made me shrink myself down and not want to be seen. So I've been walking around for my whole lifetime thinking I'm fucking shy, right? I'm thinking I'm shy. I don't want to be seen. I'm just going to be in the background, I'm going to be in the background. It's okay. It's okay. When really what I was doing, y'all, was replaying a fucking program from 10 years old when I had an incident with my dad where I didn't feel seen. So I'm replaying a loop in a conversation with myself about myself, not wanting to be seen, right? And I'm using it as being shy or feeling like I'm misunderstood. But real talk, I was hiding. I was fucking hiding, y'all. Now, here's where spirit really starts to deal with you, right? Because how can I be here to help people, right? With all of this information that's innately in my DNA that comes forth, with all of this information that I study, with all of this knowledge that I have, how can I really get out here and help people if I'm over here in the shy box talking about I don't want to be seen? How is that going to work? So, literally in real time, I caught myself that I was in my own fucking way, not embracing this change because over here I'm thinking I'm shy, but really there was a memory in my wound and my emotions, aka in my feminine energy, that was reminding me of a situation from 10 years old where I hid my fucking self. Now in my adulthood, I'm hiding under that same loop. But now it's not me not want to be seen and shrinking, right? It's me saying I'm shy. It's me saying I'm misunderstood, right? This is how this shit plays out in your life. Stop trying to figure people out and figure you out. Okay. Now, if I was just projecting outwardly, oh my gosh, I went from getting like 1,600 views on a video, 3 years ago. Now I barely get 10 views on a video, like, oh my gosh, I don't even know why I'm doing this for, right? Part of, this is twofold, right? Part of that is because I was standing in my own way, right? Feeling misunderstood, feeling shy, right? But really, the truth was, I just didn't want to be seen. So, how the hell could I attract the people that made an agreement to come into remembrance with me at this time if I'm still standing at a fucking frequency of not wanting to be seen? And this was something that I did not know was in my shadow. So, as I began to journal, and I began to take a look at what was going on, I discovered that I did not want to be seen, and I'm disguising it as being shy or being misunderstood. Stop hiding from yourselves. We don't got to hide from ourselves no more. No more hiding from yourself. And when they talk about the divine feminine energy is that rise, but really what they talking about, they're talking about the part of you that wants your emotions, right, to be heard. That's what's arising right now. The part of you that's intuitive, that wants to be heard, that's what's rising right now. The part of you whose true essence wants to create beauty, that's what's rising right now. And they don't give a shit if you're a man or a woman. Like this energy don't care if you're a man or a woman. Right? It don't care. Divine feminine energy simply means emotional, intuitive, creative energy. Divine masculine energy simply means your thoughts, your logics, your decision making process, ideas, your spark to ideas, okay? See, so we get taught all of these different things and they're all like broken up into all of these separate boxes and we don't have any clue that they're all connected. So my question to you is this, okay? What answers are you seeking for to the questions that you have? Because there can be no questions without answers. And everything that you're seeking is within you. So I'm sitting with the universe and I'm sitting with my guides and I'm thinking like, okay, like what I feel like I'm in my way somehow, right? Like I feel like I'm in my way, right? Because years ago when I launched the channel, one of the things that stopped me from launching the channel, I was supposed to launch my channel way at the top of 2018. I didn't launch until September of 2018, and that was because I was in the same energy, right? Of not being seen, but you want to know how that energy was showing up back then? Not as shyness, not as misunderstood. That energy back then was showing up on perfectionism and procrastination, y'all. Everything needed to be perfect. My background needed to be perfect. My lighting needed to be perfect. Do I need to get this particular microphone? Like everything needed to be perfect. Everything needed to be perfect. The answers to the questions that you seek already exist. That's a cosmic law. All you got to do is embrace this change that's here for you. Ain't no more blaming nobody else. Ain't no more, you can't, like when you start to get to a place where you want to be a self master of self. It ain't no more blaming somebody else. What you then begin to understand is that people are used as indicators to show you where you are. That's it. Can I tell you how freeing it is to move into a place of non judgment, especially about yourself? That is the most fucking freeing thing in the world. A lot of us are walking around feeling intimidated, misunderstood, or shy when we're among other people, but that's really because these are the things that you are within yourself. I had a conversation with a wonderful soul a few days ago, and and he says to me, "I fucking feel like I have everything. I got a nice house. I'm touring. I'm traveling. I'm doing all of this stuff, but I'm not fucking happy. I'm not happy, and I don't fucking understand why I'm not happy." And you know what my conversation with him was? Bro, you running from yourself. Bro, you running from yourself. You're running from yourself. Like I've been watching this process with you the whole time, and you're running from yourself. The universe moved you over here in this beautiful, nice place away from all of that chaos that you were going on, right? But what do? When you're not on tour and you at home, you don't stay in this beautiful place that the universe gave you. You pack your bag and you go back to the fucking chaos, like literally. So a lot of times when you're supposed to be sitting with yourself, you run. And you can't see yourself if you're running from yourself. And then you get mad and you want other people to see you, but you're not even embracing the change that's trying to come forth from within you. All right. So we got the tone. The tone is embrace the change. I'm gonna read this one more time before we go on to the next energy. Okay. The tone that's being sent in this transmission is you need to embrace the change. It's time for self mastery. All 12 strands of your DNA is now becoming active. It is time for you to balance your nervous system, which means that you're going to have to watch your stress levels and take ownership of your own shit. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality. Your reality shifts based on your thoughts and your emotions daily. You're jumping in and out of different realities daily. This morning you left the house, you wasn't feeling so good, and then you go to work and a coworker enlightened you and lift you up, and now you ending your day feeling amazing. See how you just shifted two realities? Literally. Two realities. And I just showed you 2025 versus 75/30. You're an energetic being, which means that you have the power to move in and out of emotional states and mental states every day, all day, every moment of the day. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. That is the looping energy of the signal that's being sent out. Okay. I'm sorry, this is the tone energy. The looping energy is saying, what are you birthing? Pay attention to your feelings. Your feelings are birthing shit. Your feelings fuse your thoughts. Your thoughts fuse your action. Your action is going to produce your reality. That's how that works. That's the four elements. You're always playing in the game of the four elements. Air energy, your thoughts, which is fueled by water energy, your emotions, which is then taken on by action, fire energy, which is then the reality of the outcome, the material world, which is earth energy. You control this shit. Okay. You may not remember, but I'm here to help you remember. I'm gonna give you another real-time example. Looping energy is you control this shit. Are you paying attention to your emotions? What are you lying to yourself about? Energy here that's looping, timid, misunderstood, shy, vulnerable, like all of the stuff that, victimhood. Come on now. I already taught y'all how to vet the energy, right? You know how to vet the energy. I taught y'all how to do that. Okay, so where's the energy unfolding? The energy is unfolding once again here in your emotions, feminine energy. This is coming out twice. Whenever we see anything repeat, we need to pay attention to repeating energy because it's trying to give you a message. Okay? Some of you saw the last one and started writing out in my journal. Okay, now, come on now. See? Come on now. Yeah, in real time. Y'all saw what Summer said? Summer said she started journaling. Summer, I'm going to also advise you get you a second journal. I have three, but one of my journals also, Summer, is my what do I call it? I have a journal just to track all of the what you would consider miracles, phenomenon, anything outside of what I would deem normal, I jot down in that journal. Right. And this helps me to strengthen the awareness of the subtle energies. Okay. So like something that I would write in my journal is something simple like um like I saw two orbs outside of my front door while my doorbell was going off. I think this was on the 29th, right? So I write in my journal two orbs of light, given the color of the orbs of light. I'll give the date, right? And then so as you're going through time, right, Summer, you're able to see that you are tapped in. Okay. Remember, there's a thin line between the mystic and insanity. You just need to choose which one you're walking on, right? So, what you're doing when you have that journal, Summer, is you're training yourself how to read subtle energies. You're training your third eye, right? Okay. You're training the eye that sees not with vision, okay? Not with vision, but it sees with energy. You're training that eye, okay? All right. So the way that this energy is unfolding is playing out in your emotions. Okay. Remember, we talk about this. All right. Whoever controls you emotionally and mentally controls you. You're their puppet. Okay. Whoever controls you mentally, emotionally can control what you think, what you do, okay, how you feel, how you don't feel. So it's time for us to be independent feelers and independent thinkers within our own self. Okay. So the energy is unfolding within your emotions. Okay. And they're saying as this energy unfolding within your emotions, you really want to pay attention to balance, karma, and justice. And let me just explain all three of these things. Okay. Karma is simply cause and effect. Okay. The choice you make today is going to give you your outcome for tomorrow. So right now, if you talk about us operating in karma, okay, karma is cause and effect. If I curse my husband out this morning before I go get coffee, right, I set out a cause for me to also maybe receive some type of nasty interaction with somebody. So before I left the house this morning, I cursed my husband out, very nastily, did not take into consideration any of his feelings. Then I get to Starbucks and all of a sudden the barista person has this nasty attitude and just, and then yeah, tells me some not nice words. And I'm baffled and, oh my gosh, can I please speak to your manager? What the fuck? You don't need to speak to no manager. You need to check how you left your house. And let me just say this to you guys right now, okay? If you were doing your spiritual work, let me tell you something. This shit is gonna come smack you dead smack. It ain't waiting, baby. It ain't waiting. It's not gonna take a year or two if you're doing your work. It's gonna check you in real time. The way that you treat other people is the way that you're gonna be treated. That's how this works. And I'm going to say this. So the first person you start treating with kindness, grace, and love got to be to yourself because you can't give to somebody else, but you don't have to give to yourself. So karma is cause and effect. Balance is being honest with yourself. Balance is right here. You need to balance your emotions and your thoughts. Balancing don't mean not being mad, not being angry, not being sad. I'm not telling you not to do those things, but when you feel those energies, because they're energies, they're archetypes, when you feel those things, the question then becomes, why do I feel angry? Why do I feel sad? Right? I told y'all it's not until I started asking some questions. I'm over here thinking, like, okay, my question was, how am I standing in my way? That was my question. I feel like I'm standing in my way. Can you show me how? And I told y'all, doing my shadow work, I went back to that moment at 10 in the back of the pickup truck with my dad and my cousins and my sisters, remembering what I planted in my head at 10. So I'm literally standing in my way internally because internally, secretly, I didn't want to be seen. But it's projecting outwardly as me being shy and me being misunderstood. Come on now, we got to be real with our fucking selves here, right? Because when you're not real with yourself, people that carry toxic energy or narcissistic energy or energy vampires, they see the shit that you don't. They see the shit you don't, or they see the shit that you don't want to shed light on within yourself, and that's how they can manipulate you. Okay? So now, when we're talking about justice, you need to understand that the universe does not do blind justice. The output is going to be equal to the input. What you put in is what you're going to get out. The universe does not do good or bad, right or wrong. It only knows up or down. Okay. You are the conscious sentient being that can distinguish good or bad, right or wrong. So the universe is just going to give you the output of whatever you invested. So if you invested fuckery into something, it's going to repay you with fuckery. If you invested love and kindness into something, guess what you're getting back in your karma and your effect? Love and kindness. Guess what you're getting back in balance? Love, kindness, and groundedness and being feeling whole, not scattered in a million pieces. Guess what's going to happen in justice? You're not even going to have to do nothing. Justice is just going to come about. This is just gonna come about. Let me tell you something when you start operating in your powers, how powerful this shit is and how you can literally bend space and time. Okay. So, Miss T, honey, Miss T, you ain't saying nothing but a word, Miss T. Okay. Let me tell you how this has been just a beautiful experience. Like this is just a beautiful experience to me because when you get out of your way and you stop doing good, bad, and you start paying attention to the lessons, and you maybe start paying attention to your internal programming and your internal dialogue, right? A whole nother world opens up to you, right? So I was supposed to be going on this trip to Costa Rica next year. Okay. Um, and intuitively, there's something that's just in my spirit that I would like to go, but I don't know if I'm in my way because of fear, right? Or if I'm in my way because intuitively I'm not supposed to be going, right? Because remember, I told you guys, I'm literally starting over from scratch. Okay. A year ago, literally, I had to start over from scratch. I won't say I lost everything, but I think I had to release everything that I knew to start afresh. And being in the archetype or operating in the archetype of like the scorpion energy, like that Pluto energy, I'm used to that, right? If I look back at my life, I can see that I'm used to like these harsh, sometimes these intense endings, but then this beautiful new birth afterwards. Okay. So I'm supposed to be going to Costa Rica. Okay. Now, the only thing I'm responsible for is my airfare, right? And my spending money. Everything else is taken care of. Okay. And I'm in my head because I'm like, okay, I know I can manifest, the finances. It's not a problem about manifesting the finances. So I said, okay, I'm not fearful about finances, but there's something still uneasy within my spirit about this trip. I know there's a lot going on in the earthly climate right now, a lot of stuff happening, with the airport and the airlines and stuff. So I said, okay, universe. I do not want to stand in my way because I'm fearful. Okay. And right now, I can't identify exactly, what, why I feel the way I feel. But if I'm supposed to go on this trip, right, I'm going to sink in the ease that everything is going to unfold naturally. If I'm not supposed to go on this trip, could you please work it out where I don't have to go? Okay. Can I tell y'all I got a fucking phone call this morning telling me that I didn't have to go on the trip? Okay. That I didn't have to go on the trip. And it was such a beautiful conversation. And not only did I not have to go on the trip, right? The person did not take it personal. They were like, "Oh no, I think you should follow your spirit." Oh no, As a matter of fact, no, they did not take it personal. Now, mind you, did I say again I was only responsible for getting my ass to Costa Rica for the 7 days, all expensive, all inclusive, everything paid? But I really did not want to not go because of whatever internal blockages or fear I had. So all I did was ask the universe, if this is not for me, please work it out. And it did this morning with a phone call. I didn't even have to initiate the phone call. So what I'm saying to you is when you start to do this type of work and you start to really be honest with yourself, guess what? Things balance themselves out for you. You don't have to do once you make up internally and you rest in that. I promise you, the universe worked this stuff out more organically than you can even fucking begin to imagine. Okay, you gonna get the phone calls telling you, "Oh yeah, yeah, don't worry about that. I got that." Okay, so just know the energy is also unfolding here with apologies and forgiveness. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't feel like this is external apologies and forgiveness. I feel like this is internal apologies and forgiveness. This is something that you got. This is sitting with yourself energy. It is guarded and vulnerability. This energy is sitting with yourself because there's a great change happening. Are you being really who you are? Are you accepting you, or are you still looking outside of yourself for other people to first accept you and then you're going to accept yourself? Are you okay with being different? And I just want to say this too. When you begin to accept the parts of you and forgive the parts of you and apologize to the parts of you that you've been keeping in the dark, that you've been guarded, that you haven't been allowing vulnerability of self love to flow in there, there is something amazing that happens when you get to a space within what we would call a shadow, right? Whether we call it shadow work or dark night of the soul, there's something that beautiful happens in this space. There's a beautiful transmutation that happens in this space where you begin to literally fall in love with all aspects of yourself, the weird parts of you, the parts of you that may not be fully complete, but now you recognize them, so you can now bring those fragmented parts of yourself into wholeness. The parts of you that you've buried so deep that you didn't even remember, right? Why you think or feel that way. The parts of you that you've hidden because you're afraid to show that part of you because when you were maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years old, somebody told you that part of you was not okay to be seen. This energy has nothing to do with external energy. Your relationships are showing you aspects of you. It's time to come back to yourself. It's time for you to come back to yourself. It's time for you to remember yourself. Okay. Now, how this energy should be navigated, I can't make this shit up. We've been having this card for the past 2 or 3 days. Spying, watching, right? There has to be a level of introspection when you're doing this type of work. Look at yourself in the mirror. Have you ever really looked at yourself in your eyes in the mirror? What do you see when you look at yourself in the mirror? What do you really see? Have you looked at yourself in the mirror and looked and literally sit still maybe for 30 seconds to see what the first word that arises is? Not the I gotta pay this bill, I gotta be here at this time. No, 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 not those things, right? Because those are idle things. Those are aspects from your basic self. Those are the practical things, the autopilot stuff, right? I'm talking about when you get past the schedule, the dinner, the bills. Have you looked at yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, and really paid attention to what you see? Have you? I'm asking you to try it. I'm asking you to try it. I'm even going to help you with this, right? Here's a journal prompt for you for those of you that are doing your journals. Here's your journal prompt for you for the rest of the day, right? Your journal prompt is this: jot down the little things that you notice about yourself today. And it's not about judgment, right? It's not about judgment. If you feel irritated, jot down. I noticed I felt irritated today when such and such happened, right? And I promise you, right? The more you start to jot down what you notice, I promise you, that part of yourself that you've been trying to not pay attention to, that you've been, hiding from, that you haven't been wanting to face, is going to start telling you why you felt mad or you got irritated. It's going to tell you why. It is. It has to. That's universal law. There can be no questions without answers. That's universal law. Okay. So don't think there's questions out here that don't got no answers. No. And I will tell you, actually, universal law, because everything is reflected. Like, what show is that? The Upside Down? Strange. What is it? What's the name of that show where they got the Upside Down? I can't remember. Stranger Things, I think it is, right? Right? I'll be even showing you this, right? Answers come before the questions when you're in the quantum world, right? So in this world, right, in what we call reality, the questions appear, right? But the questions stem from answers, stranger things. Thank you, Summer. You can have no questions in what we call our earthly reality without first the answer being in what we call the spiritual realm, the ethers, the grid, consciousness, whatever you call it, right? We can have no questions first without consciousness having the answers. That's how it works. There's never going to be a question that does not have an answer. That would not be part of universal law because the question and the answer are part of the same coin, right? They make the whole. They make the whole. This is why you can't ever go through life thinking that you don't have to balance your feminine side if you're a man, because your feminine side is your emotions, your intuition. Or you have to balance your masculine side because you're a woman, because your masculine side is your deductive side, your deductive reasoning side, your logical side, your decision making side, right? Start watching yourself. There can be no fucking answers without a question, and there can be no questions without an answer. Universal law. Okay. The way to navigate this is start paying attention to you. Pay attention to your actions. Pay attention to how you react to things. Okay, so I noticed that this made me feel mad, and then this is how I reacted. And if nothing prompts you to tell you why you reacted that way, you can even journal, why did I react that way? And the answer got to come. The answer has to come. It's universal law. Even when you go back to any of your great doctrines or any of your spiritual walks or or your religious texts, right? They tell you have not because you ask not. So you don't have an answer not because an answer don't exist. You don't have an answer because you haven't asked for one. And I need to jot this down because I need to also tell you guys something about prayer. Okay, because some of you need to know that a lot of people be praying wrong. Okay, some of you be PREY instead of PRAY. Okay, because PRAY don't got shit to do with asking for shit. So if you praying and you asking for shit, you ain't praying right. Your prayer should be one of gratitude. Asking it should be given. That ain't a prayer. That's a command. Okay, asking is a command. You already have everything, so you command. Your words command. So when you pray, or you're in prayer, or you're in meditation, that should be you in gratitude, being thankful that what you've asked for is already given. So stop asking for things. If you're talking about you praying and you asking for things, you shouldn't ask for anything. You have everything. Command it. And then once you've commanded it, you use your prayer and your meditation, right, to sit in the gratitude of already having that thing. Okay. How's your actions? Are you moving boldly with courage and looking at yourself, right? What thoughts are you expanding? Are you tapping into the new beginnings that's here for you every moment of every day? You got a choice. You got a choice. You got a choice whether or not you want to stay angry, happy, depressed, or sad. Now, let me just go ahead and put this disclaimer. I understand that depression can be a chemical imbalance, and some people may need to go see other people, professionals to get that in order. Maybe take some medications for that. But once you've got your medications regulated, right? Guess what? You got to start doing that internal work, baby. Being an antidepressant medication without shadow work is not going to be fulfilling. One of the things they teach us in Reiki when you go to become a Reiki master is that every disease or disease or mental ailment first comes from a dis-ease within you. And you know what a dis-ease means? Means when you have said yes to something, but your body is signaling no, or your spirit is signaling no. You said no to something, right, out of fear, right, but your spirit and your body signaling yes. Right? You heard a warning sign, warning, toxic, warning, unrequited love, warning, unrequited love, but you don't take heed to those things. So now your body's overcompensating, sending in all types of different directions. Different electrical circuits, sending all type of different chemicals throughout your body. Then you want to know why you have a headache, or then you want to know why you got anxiety. If you start spying on yourself and paying attention to your inner world, those things can come into balance. Your anxiety can cease, depression can cease, your health can cease. You don't believe me? Go research and study this shit. Science is not proving it. See, you don't got to believe nothing I say. Go do the work and research for yourself, because this is what this is all about. This is about study to show who approved, yourself approved. Study to show thyself approved. And what's the rule to this game, right? To thy own self be true, but you got to know thyself. Everything is led back to thyself, yourself. Anything here that resonates with you, take what resonates and then go do the research. And not just do the research about intaking information, start researching yourself. That's important. Now that you're watching yourself, now that you're paying attention to your actions, right? And your emotions, what's going on in your head? Because sometimes you get isolated so you can go through a refinement or a purification thing, right? But some people don't like being alone. So let me tell you how this could play out, right? All right, you just found something about yourself, right? And instead of taking action, maybe about sitting with yourself, journaling, just sitting with it, without judgment, you want to jump on the phone and have a conversation with everybody else about why this shouldn't be or what this shouldn't be, right? Instead of sitting in your own thoughts. Sometimes you get placed in isolation so you can learn how to trust yourself. And sometimes you place yourself in isolation because you don't want to see yourself. We've come to a cycle of transformation and change. Change has shown up here 2 times. Change has shown up here, and change has shown up here in cycles and completion. We're now at a cycle where all 12 strand DNA is coming online. We're now at a cycle where all of the mysteries that was once hidden from us, that was burnt, that was stolen, buried, whatever you want to call it, we're now at a place and point in time where that information not just lived in books and lived in scrolls and lived on walls and ancient temples, that information also lives in your DNA. And your DNA is waking up. And some of you have information and codes that the world needs, but you haven't tapped in yet to write those things, to express those things. We're now embarking in a world where it's new for those of us that are here in this lifetime. So we're going to have new books. We're going to have new downloads. We're going to have new spiritual information being ushered out to us so we can have a greater level of understanding. It's time for change. You see how this butterfly is around the mouth, right? With this butterfly being around the mouth, this lets me know that you also have to watch what you speak out into the ethers. Remember, I told you your words, WORDS. If you reverse that, your words are your swords. Your words are your swords. So your words can create life or they can create destruction. It's your choice. How are you utilizing your energy? Regret and repression. A lot of people are using their energy in the distorted timeline of regret and repression, and they are projecting it externally instead of reflecting. You cannot get to the other side without reflection. Okay? You can't get to the other side of this without reflecting. What are the answers that you're seeking about yourself, or about the world, about the spiritual walk, about the journey? Just know that the answers are there. I will imply you to stop seeking answers about other people. Start seeking answers about yourself. When you first have a well rounded understanding of who you are, then it's easier for you to see who other people are. Hmm. Summer says people are coming up fragmented because of how intense the journey is. It's not easy. It's very hard. Okay, Summer. This is for Summer, and whoever else want to grab this, you can. Summer, I'm gonna show you how you're able to bend space and time, and I'm gonna show you some mastery tricks right now. I need you to look at this card, Summer. Okay, I need you to look at this card, and I need you to look at this butterfly here, and I need you to look at what this butterfly says, Summer. This card says cycles, change, completion, right? You see how the butterfly is around her mouth, Summer, and it says change? Butterflies represents transmutation, right? And usually when you're going through transmutation, Summer, it is intense. It is difficult, right? It's kind of like weight training, when you lift weights, right? Here's the thing though, Summer. You've gotten to a part in this journey where it don't have to be hard anymore, right? So if you can swap out the word because your words are spells. So when we talk about spelling, right? Words are spelling. Your words create spells. This is why when you repeat a chant and then it has words, right? That's a spell, right? So because you were doing the work, Summer, and you've now entered a new cycle of completion, right? It is no longer hard, Summer. Change that word hard, Summer, right? You don't even have to make the word easy. You can say it's interestingly beautiful. That's another way you could reframe it. Because if you continue to move forward in this energy that we're tapping in right now, Summer, right? Because remember, we're here now, Summer. We're in change. We're in cosmic energy. We're in 12 strand DNA activation, right? We're in resonance. We're not trying to find a frequency or vibration anymore. We are that frequency or that vibration. So I don't want you to be in a frequency or vibration where your spiritual journey is hard anymore, right? We can say it's work, right? We got to put that work in, right? We can say it's commitment because we got to be committed, right? No, Summer, it's no longer hard for you, Summer. It's interestingly beautiful or beautifully interesting. So that way, no matter what comes up for you, Summer, you're embracing the change and you're able to see beauty where people may see none. You're able to bring order out of chaos. You're able to find lessons where you might have saw mistakes, right? Where you're able to turn shame and guilt into some of the most transformative things that you can ever imagine. So no, Summer, it's not hard anymore, Summer. It's work, it's a commitment, right? But it's beautifully interesting. Look at her, Summer. She look, she carries even the signs. She even carries the signs. The two energies that you operate on here most, right, is your emotions and actions. So whenever you see blue energy, right, we're talking about emotional energy. When you see red, anything of red, that's action driven, that's fire energy, right? So how much times have we been moving through life allowing our emotions to prompt our actions, allowing our words to create our next experience? No, you are summer, right? So allow your light to shine. I'm gonna read this one more time for y'all. Change is the tone that's being sent up for this transmission in this video today. And the frequency says, the frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. You see that, Summer? Everything is with ease now, baby. Write it the way that you want it. You're welcome, my love. Write it the way you want it, right? And then let me just give y'all another trick when you're journaling, okay? And then I'm gonna go rest my voice. Can I just say, I love each and every one of you. I am dropping a petal of love and vibration in the water of the consciousness and just rippling it out to each and every one of you. I see you because I now see myself. You are a reflection of me, and I'm honored and thankful that at this point in this space and time that I'm able to be of service with my gifts. I am no longer running from who I am. I'm no longer hiding or shying away. This is a season of change and activation. So I just want to say thank you guys for remembering to meet yourself here. Thank you for remembering to meet me here because I am a reflection of you and you are a reflection of me. We are all connected. And I just want to say thank you. You guys don't know how encouraging it is that you show up here. I don't care if it's just two or three of you, my day ones, because what you guys don't know is to get on here and hit that live button. Man, the workup I got to do to hit the live, the workup that I have to do internally just to hit the live button. I don't get here easily. So I want you guys to know that. It's getting easier because I'm doing the deep dive as to why I was standing in my way. So it's getting easier now, right? It's a lot. Okay, so I just corrected something. So let me go ahead and correct myself. It is easier now. It's with ease now. Okay. It is with ease now that I show up here for you guys daily because I now see myself. I'm no longer running. That's another thing you need to know about the spiritual work too. So you can do some major healing, intense healing in an area. And then maybe a year or two later, you find that something from that area pops back up. And it's not that you haven't done the healing or don't work there, but if you think about it like cleaning your house, right? If you clean your house in the springtime, by the time fall comes again and you haven't dusted off that top shelf, in the past 3 or 4 months, when you slide your finger across that top shelf, there's going to be a little dusty that you got to go wipe off, right? It's the same thing in your spiritual walk. Okay. You got to go in and you got to take inventory. You got to go in and you got to do some cleaning, right? I'm so excited about the stuff that we got coming up, y'all. I cannot wait for my voice to get better because next week we really getting into the thick of things. All the information that I've been bringing for the past month, we fitting to put all that shit in order. And we're going to map it out so every day you have a guided direction, okay, of how this shit work and how you need to move forward. Okay. I remember who I am now. And I'm just here to remind you of who you are. Okay. Now, y'all know I love y'all. Okay. Oh, with that being said, so that's going to definitely bring in some changes because the live schedule may be different. What I'm not going to do, right, is I'm not going to burn myself out like I did 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I burnt myself out because I was not utilizing my time properly. We're not doing that this time. I'm more structured right now. I have a clearer, coherent, truthful understanding of what I'm here to do now, okay, and what experience I'm here to have. So we're gonna make it tight and right, okay. We're gonna tighten it up and we're gonna make it tight and right, okay. We're getting it together, all right, y'all. So I'm excited about next week. I have my notes, I have everything laid out. I just can't do that with my voice. I need to let my voice rest, okay. All right. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close it out with a tone to end this transmission and this message. And I need each and every one of you to remember this. If you remember nothing else, you are fucking amazing, even on your worst days. Even on your worst days, you're amazing. Even on your worst days, you were loved. Even on your worst days, you were seen, or even what appears to be your worst days, you were seen. Even what appears to be your worst days, you are remembered. Okay. All right. So you want to go ahead and do something kind for yourself because you motherfucking should. Okay. You should. Absolutely. Okay. And then you want to do something kind for somebody else, not because you should, but because you can. Right. And positivity is contagious. Love is contagious. Joy is contagious. Confidence is contagious. So yeah, because you can. Why not? You got this. Okay. All right. All right. I love each and every one of you, my loves. I will be back here tomorrow. I don't know what time. Just go ahead and set that notification button. However, okay, we're gonna be back here tomorrow with another message and another transmission. So we're gonna go ahead and close the transmission out with our tone. Okay. That was a beautiful one. It's still going. Ooh, that felt good. That one felt good, y'all. Okay. All right, my loves. I love each and every one of you. Okay. And I'm going to see you guys back here tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye, my loves.